Hello everybody and welcome to Toya's wonderful world of weird. This is a short story, whether to see you to bed into night world or to wake you up in the morning when you've got 5 minutes to spare. And this is Mother's Day. A long time ago on Earth One, telephones, as they were known back then, used to hide the identity of the voice that was calling you. Earthlings who lived during the planet's later history put objects to their ears to hear the caller. No face, no identity was available to those receiving the call. Today, no one can hide unless you are living in a space station where callers aren't interested in seeing what you look like, because by your role on the space station, you are considered to be lowly, a service person, and you have been exiled into eternity. While you age slower on space stations, therefore you don't bother to do things like your nails. Makeup is pointless and your hair becomes so long it gets caught in the myriad of knobs designed 100 years ago. When space life was so primitive, you were just living in a box. Now, to be honest, once you're stationed above a planet, you're simply forgotten. But sometimes these castaways find themselves in a position of power, and they have freedom of choice in how they go about their daily lives, as long as it doesn't involve stepping outside or traveling, because traveling is only for the rich. And when you're alone in space, you can pretend to be whoever you want to be or anything you want to be. So when Tracy was informed that she had this job, chosen from 3 million other childless women, she wasn't unusual in that case, because most women who didn't have 3 billion in the bank were childless by this point. She was removed from service on planet Earth 2 and shot up to a slightly not state-of-the-art call centre off planet. And there she was in a small bijou pod, safe from rogue bullets and predatory animals. Large ones, I have to say. And she was grateful, because she no longer had to fight for space, air, food, a toilet, a bed, or for her own safety. She soon found out she was alone, a one-woman call centre for a pet insurance company called Planet Earth 2 Pet Creation Insurance. That said, there were other pods floating around her, suspended in outer space, but she had no idea who occupied them and what their role was. It was a bit of a scam, her pet insurance actually, because real animals were no longer part of human lives. Only the rich could create them, and that was part of their many collections, like megaboats, or cars, or wives, or even real children. Yes, some of the rich still like the idea of incubating their own seeds in their own bodies, rather than order from one of the many creation labs available on Earth 2. Tracy knew she was judgmental by the fact she couldn't wait to get off planet in the first place and away from these awful, consuming, treasure-hoarding, egotistical, maniacal despots. But she never expected that she would develop a compulsion to become the voice of the pets that were being objectified by the super elite. She never thought she had it in her, in any way, to have revenge. Tracy's job puts her in direct contact with the bored, unchallenged upper echelons who collect animals purely for their rarity, not because they care, not because they are interested in evolution and ecology, because when you're one of the universe's super rich, when you buy a planet-sized rock to mine, You don't give a toss about its long-term future. You just buy another planet-sized rock and leave your problems and staff behind as you shoot off to new destinations. All her life, Tracy has dreamt of having company. Not the cold metallic company of a robot, nor the company of a resentful human being. Here, she was shacked up, technically forever isolated, on a space station looking over a blue and celestial planet where only trillionaires have the right to walk freely, breathe freshly made air that everyone else has to pay for. In the form of hard labor. No, all she wanted was to hold a kitten or a puppy, smell soft little ears, even a bunny rabbit. Her maternal instincts had shut off long ago, and she hadn't seen an actual living man, well, for well over 60 odd years, and she wasn't sure any existed anymore in their natural form. She'd never held a living thing in her very long life, but she could imagine how miraculous it would feel to have a simple beating heart in her hands, a little life that only wants to eat, sleep, be safe, and play. She looks out of her porthole at the huge blue marble of a planet she is orbiting, floating in dark space. When the screen lights up in front of her and her microphone and speakers kick in. The elite don't want to see the service providers. They are just disembodied voices. Tracy takes the call. New Earth Pet Creation Insurance, what animal are you hoping to insure? A young voice enters her pod. Well, it was cloned from something rather large that had a really long neck, long legs, knobbly head, long tongue, large spots like a deformed leopard, and was crossed with a stegosaurus. Tracy rolled her eyes and asked, well, are we insuring you as well as your new breed? Because what you have falls into the killer category. The voice stumbles. Yeah, well, I have personal security. They'll get it first. I'm behind a fence. So really, I'm just insuring the animal. Oh, can I insure to cover its surgery when I hunt it? Like, I mean, I don't want to kill it immediately. I'd like to have it a few more years, you know, so at least until I'm bored or I'm challenged by it. So when bullets need to be removed, it has a remarkably thick skin, by the way, so I'm guessing bullets can just be pulled out by a vet behind a screen or from an armoured truck. We've got a few of those on our grounds. So can I just insure for the vet bills? Tracy thought how incredible it was that the rich never wanted to pay for anything's well-being. They always needed policies that covered the eventuality of death. Policies they could haggle, but ultimately made sure they maintained their power. Pets have become a currency, a form of repulsive status where the weirder, the larger, the more dangerous resulted in their humans feeling customer satisfaction. No one looked at preservation, conservation, or animal welfare anymore. That was left behind on Earth 1, now a brown marble floating in another solar system. Nobody cared because most intended to move off planet within the first 10 years after the mining stops. Tracy took all the details needed and agreed the ridiculous fee, then added, excuse me, sir, but would you like to include pet conversations? The new earthling sounded bemused. You mean where pets have a conversation with you? Yes, said Tracy. It helps understand how your animal experiences their life, their perspective. I mean, some people gain a lot of insight and empathy from the service. Why the hell do I need empathy? I am a hunter, said the boy. I am an alpha. No one gets anything from empathy. Bloody hell. The boy was annoyed. Tracy found herself feeling increasingly angry when people phoned her up to insure their pets against accidents, like falling off 101st floors off a skyscraper, or being thrown out of a private jet, or for a simple but inevitable collision with a quad bike. Tracy just wanted to give these animals a voice. And that's what Pet Conversations was. After all, she had access to everyone's history on planet Earth too. No one knew who she was. Could they track her, find her, sue her, punish her? No. She looks down on this young planet and all its precious things. The gift of evolution stopped the moment the first machines arrived. Tracy finishes her call with Stegosaurus Boy and taps her ancient controls and looks at her screen and dials the first of the few names who have paid for Pet Conversations. A woman answers and she sounds high. Hello, says Tracy. This is Pet Conversations. It's time for your talk with Tyler. Would you like to talk to him? Oh, Tyler! Ciao! What can Tyler do for me? Tyler is a cross between a pit bull and a saber-toothed tiger, what they call an ugly fucker, with a fucked up attitude to go with it. Some creations are better left uncreated, Tracy thought. The voice of Tyler comes as a surprise out of Tracy's mouth. Hi, Mum. When I was born, I had bollocks. I mean, where have they gone, please? Can I have them back? The woman didn't get it. But darling, you are a unique one-off. Who needs all that stuff? This is ridiculous. Why am I doing this? Tyler doesn't exist. She mutters, sounding completely stoned. Nah, I want to be the dog's bollocks. I want to run in packs. I want to be with my own kind. I want to kill rats. And I want to chase cats. And above all, I want to lick my balls. Tracy had made herself laugh and she slammed the connection shut, leaving the woman confused. Tracy was so surprised at the character that came out of her mouth. But she didn't care because the rich are always confused, and that is how she left her client. And anyway, the client will forget this interchange the moment the connection was broken. She will simply find another stimulation to fill her space and time. Tracy then remembered the woman who ran a rabbit breeding colony for scientific experimentation. Tasty morsels for carnivorous pet creations and restaurant meat. So Tracy thought, I'm going to call her. Hello, Maureen. It's Pet Conversation Service here. One of your larger females wants to have a chat with you. The person was startled. Who the are you? I don't want this service. How did you get this number? I mean, this woman was absolutely steaming. This is not a listed number. Where did you get this connection? Oh, but you're paying for this service, Maureen, said Tracy. Oh, this is stupid. Just piss off. No, it's not stupid, actually, said Tracy. It informs you of your animal's health and well-being. It's considered the way forward when learning to connect with what Earth life was. Earth life, said the woman. People can remember things like that? Yes, exclaimed Tracy, and animals especially. Now, do you want to have a conversation with your top alpha mother in your breeding pack? She can enlighten you with what she needs and what will make her presence in your life more fulfilling. Maureen huffed and closed the connection. It was a couple of hours before Tracy's communications lit up again, and in that time, the far-off star that lit her pod had disappeared, leaving a blazing aura around planet Earth too, and reappeared again. Tracy flicked the switch for the sunshades to open over her pod. The switch cracked as if it would actually break the next time she used it. Her pod was aging even if she wasn't. It's funny how light and oxygen does that. Tracy opened the connection that was flashing in front of her, and a female voice chirped into her space. Tracy, it's Planet Earth 2 Child Creation Insurance here. It's time for your child conversation. Please continue, child 2642. You are connected. Mummy? Mummy, is that you? Happy Mother's Day. Tracy felt every fibre of her body, every cell, every atom, every neutron within her body spring to life, awakening her potential, a potential she had never been able to realise until now. And she feels the gift within her reach out through time and space, connecting an infinite universe. The ecstasy and the erotic charge lasted all of 3 seconds as soon as the next connection pinged in her pod. It was Maureen cancelling her pet conversations account. And Tracy had forgotten it had ever been Mother's Day in her eternity. That was written by Eno. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Go on, you grubby rat bag.